position that will work for you, so that you can leave your attention. Stop thinking about the body and put your attention on something useful. Meditating on the body is not going to help you. So, most of us do a lot of meditation on our bodies already, about, how I feel, and, how I'm hungry, and, I want some sleep now, and like that. So that's not a very helpful meditation. So the other thing about meditation is to find out what to meditate on. And, I'm sort of going, I think it's very, very useful to end our classes with a lot of talk about meditation, because, you're gonna go out into the world as yoga teachers and so forth. People are going to come to you to learn how to meditate. Increasingly. They're already coming to you to learn how to have a healthier life, healthier body. But the next thing is meditation. And I think it's probably going to be the next big thing. As people lose interest in yoga and start whatever new physical fad that will happen next, the meditation part will remain. The interest in meditation will remain, I think. Especially as yogis get older. And they're not able to stand on their heads anymore, or do these kinds of poses. Maybe they hurt themselves doing asana because they didn't do it right. But they're still going to be attracted to the meditation part, I think. That part is something that you can really, so you should train yourself. You should be training yourself in meditation and how to teach meditation. And one of the most important things about how to teach meditation is what to meditate on. What should you put your mind on? And meditating on your breath or meditating on some word or something like that has very limited uses. So we're very fortunate to be in a lineage where we can teach people the real kinds of things to meditate. I think you can lump them into about 3 or 4 different groups. Teach people to meditate on something that will fire them up about their spiritual practice. Something that will incite a little bit of renunciation, a little bit of commitment. So there's a couple of these. You can meditate on leisure and fortune, what they call leisure and fortune. And think about what an amazing deal you got in this life, over and over and over again. And then of course think about, well, what is it for? See? So in the leisure and fortune meditations, there's, in the Lam Rim, there's 3 parts to it. Number 1, recognize it. Recognize, leisure and fortune means all the handicaps that you're free from, and all the advantages that you have. What you are free from, and what you are free to do. So number 1, just recognize it. Just go out, rehearse it. Think about the money. Think about the time. Think about the education. Think about the access to authentic yogic teachings. Think about your life. Recognize it. Then number 2, think about what it's for. What did you get a deal like this for? And then number 3, think about how rare it is. You see? How rare it is, and how important it is not to waste it. So you can meditate on that. You can meditate on death awareness. That's another very useful, inciting kind of meditation. In trying to get your priorities straight and get your practice going. Think about death in 3 ways. Death is certain. Not death, okay? Your death is certain. My death is certain. To think like that, think my death is certain. And number 2, and the time of death is totally uncertain. Don't know when I'm going to die. And then number 3, again, what's going to be important when I die? Is my money going to be important? Are my things, my possessions, my degrees, my certificates? What's going to really matter? And get that straight in your mind. Then you're motivated to do your practice, because your practice is creating things that really will matter. It is creating a kind of, among other things, a recognition that when you die, you did your best with your life. You see? If you die without doing what you know you should do with your life, you will have huge regrets. So when do you start making sure that happens? That you don't die with regret? When does that start, you see? Now is the answer to that question, okay? So that's the first kind of meditation, something that's going to get your priorities straight. Then the second kind of meditation, something that's going to develop some love and compassion in your heart. And thinking about a word over and over again, or watching your breath, doesn't develop any kind of compassion. So think about some kind of meditation that will bring you some kind of gratitude, some kind of love, some kind of concern about the pain of other people. we have various versions of this in our Buddhist repertoire. You can learn it from a from a qualified teacher, but some kind of meditation that will bring you some kind of opening of your heart. I mean, just for now, I won't teach you any like fancy one, but just for now, you can sit down and meditate on all the things that other people have done for you and are doing for you, and just like recognize that again. Just recognize it. It's not like you have to make stuff up. People have been serving you your whole life. Have been helping you living your whole life, and continue to do that. And we're mostly oblivious to it, you see, mostly. So a little bit of gratitude goes a very long way. And kind of on a daily basis, that would be a good kind of meditation to do. Then a third kind of meditation, something that will bring you some wisdom. During the retreat, we went through it kind of quick. If you were closing your eyes or spacing out or looking at the lake when I was talking, you might have missed it, but we did a couple of really heavy-duty emptiness meditations. Is the pen one thing or many things? One thing or many things? One thing or many things? First of all, you get straight. The pen that I think is out there, independently, on its own, exists independently, on its own, objectively. If it were out there, it would have to be singular or plural. Singular or plural. And then you go through that over and over and over. That's a wisdom meditation. The wisdom part of it is you recognize at a certain point, if you do this long enough, and if you hold your mind to it, you see your mind wants to run away and say, oh, whatever. But if you hold your mind to it long enough, you will recognize that there's never been a pen out there. Impossible. Because a pen out there would have to be what? One thing or many things, singular or plural. You can go looking for Waldo. Remember we did a find the self meditation, right? Where you go looking for the self that you think exists. First of all, you get in touch with the self that you think exists. A unitary self. A self that exists independently of its body and mind. A self that has a body and mind. Instead of like is somehow, intimately connected to the body and mind. Without the body and mind, who would you be? So a self that's independent of the body and mind, the unchanging self and a unitary self. You get in touch with that and then you go try to find it. If a self like this existed, it would have to be somewhere identical to the part or different from. And then you can see, like, you make up a little... Make a little agreement with your mind and say, is there something between identical and different? Is there a third option? Is there a third option between identical and different? So no, it's either identical or different. The same as, different from, right? Can't be a third thing. Is it the same as the body and mind? If it's the same as the body and mind, how can it be unitary and unchanging? When every single part of the multiple parts is changing. How could it be the same as? But it can't be different than the mind and the body either, because the self that I think I have isn't different from the body and mind. Actually, I identify with my body and mind. That's who I am. So it can't be different from and it can't be the same as either one, the self that I think exists. So you do a wisdom meditation like that. Some wisdom meditation. You can do a meditation on the interdependence of things. That there's no object without no visible object without a seer who sees the visible object. And there's no seer of a visible object until and unless what? There's a visible object to be seen. And you just rehearse that over and over again. You understand what we call the emptiness of the three spheres. Subject, object, and interrelationship between them. The emptiness means that they do exist interdependently. But they do not exist independently. They are empty of this existing independently. So you can meditate on that. Got enough to do yet? And then here's a fourth category. Okay, this is one that's mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita in verses that we'll talk about tonight. I think. Think about Krishna. Think about your guru. Think about the being that represents your highest spiritual ideals, and just meditate on them. Meditate on how awesome they are. Make them as awesomest as possible. Awesome, awesomer, awesomest. Make them the awesomest. And then just put that in front of your mind. Whatever you put in front of your mind influences your mind. It's like a mirror, So put that in front of your mind. That image of perfection, you see. An image of perfection. And you're training yourself to know what it's like to be perfect that way. You see? It's perfection training. To think about a being who's perfect. You're training yourself to know what you will be. you can't be something that you haven't imagined first, right? So imagine it. Imagine perfection. Imagine what it'd be like to be enlightened. Imagine having no problems, no worries, no stress, complete happiness. A heart chakra completely open. Loving everyone, compassionate to everyone. Put your mind in that space. Over and over and over again. That's what meditation is, right? It's habituation. Meditation is habituation. In Sanskrit, it's bhavana. It means making a new habit, bhavana. In Tibetan, it's gom, same word. Gom means repetition, habituation. Doing something over and over and over again. Obviously, something that's useful to you. Putting your mind in the same headspace over and over and over again to change your mind. That's what meditation is. Next verse.